This is the scarier of them all. Could this executive order be the precursor to martial law in America? The answer should unsettle everybody. But let's go in order, and trust me, you're going to want to hear all of this. And in the end, I'll explain to you why I think this executive order was really put into place. This is the executive order we're talking about, and it piggybacks on another EO that was signed back in January, where the president directs the armed forces to prioritizing protecting the border. And this executive order explains what tools the armed forces can use to do just that. Number one, the armed forces can use certain lands along the southern border for military operations. Number two, they can designate these lands national defense areas. And number three, the jurisdiction of these lands can be transferred to the DoD to support these military operations. This order is a historic first, and the three things I listed should worry everybody. Why? The wording on the order allows the military to circumvent a legal principle that's been at the roots of our democratic system, known as the posse comitatus, which prohibits the military from conducting law enforcement activities within the United States. By transferring jurisdiction to the military, the DoD can now control who goes in and out of these areas and can establish surveillance without the traditional permits and oversight. And the two key oversights I'm referring to would be the lack of congressional approval and the difficulty in obtaining judicial review. There are a lot of constitutional and civil liberties concerns that I have with this order, but the primary ones are the fact that in militarizing the border, the order doesn't expressly limit the authority of the DoD when engaging with civilians. The fact that lawful residents who live nearby would see their civil rights potentially constricted and their Fourth Amendment rights violated through surveillance. The fact that in all this, the transferring of jurisdiction to the DoD would restrict judicial review process. But most importantly, that through this order, the executive is further sidelining the other branches of government by claiming that there is an emergency that it says only the executive can address. And now for the most important part, because this executive order could be just a dress rehearsal. There are three possibilities here. Number one, the use of the military at the southern border, but within the territory of the US, could just be a test of public tolerance. The government is saying, let's see how America reacts to this, and then we can repurpose this approach to other domestic events. Number two, setting up jurisdiction of the DoD within the United States could just be a testbed to see how it functions and then be used in other places to restrict freedom of movement, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, and so on. Number three, and most disturbingly, this could just be a mission creep. It could just be the slow, deliberate expansion of presidential emergency powers to lead to the declaration of martial law and the suspension of most constitutional rights, including the right to due process and our system of checks and balances. Now, I might be wrong, and I hope I am, but ask yourself, can we really afford to discard that possibility and not demand that our lawmakers step in and do exactly what we elected them to do?